How cruel and strange is the destiny of a man who wears a crown, yet finds his heart chained not by power, not by duty, but by a forbidden flame! I stand before you torn between the laws of blood and the cry of my soul. Yes, I confess it, my heart has betrayed every tradition, every sacred bond. For it no longer beats for the wife that may be chosen for me, nor for the throne that awaits me, but for her, my brother-in-law's wife. She entered this palace not as a temptress, not as a dream, but as a woman cloaked in dignity, in loyalty, in grace. And yet, every glance she cast, every word she spoke, struck my heart with a sword I could not pull free. Tell me, is it sin to recognize beauty, where the world demands blindness? Is it treachery to feel life within one's veins when every duty demands silence? The court shall brand me shameless. The priests shall cry out that I am damned. My brother-in-law shall curse my very name, and the kingdom itself may shake with scandal. But what is a prince without truth? What is a crown without love? Shall I live as a coward, hiding my desire in shadows, marrying a stranger for the sake of appearances? No, I will not betray the fire that consumes me. I would rather be condemned by the world than live one more day condemned by my own heart. Yes, I want her, not as a fleeting passion, not as a secret shame, but as my bride, my queen, the very soul beside me when I ascend the throne. If the stars above have cursed me for this love, then let them strike me down now. If the throne despises me for this longing, let it burn beneath me. For I will not surrender her, not to law, not to duty, not even to blood. Hear me well, I shall fight heaven and earth, family and kingdom alike, but I shall claim her hand. The world may name it betrayal, but I name it destiny, and destiny once awakened cannot be silenced. Tell me, what is the worth of a throne, if the heart beneath its weight lies empty? Shall I dress in royal robes and smile before the people while every vein in me screams for a love I was forbidden to hold? No, I refuse. My blood is royal, but my soul is human, and it bleeds with longing for her. Yes, the woman they say I cannot have. The woman the laws of kinship would bind away from me. Yet in her silence, in the calm of her presence, I have seen more truth than in 100 oaths sworn at the altar of tradition. When she walks into a hall, my very breath trembles, and I feel as though the walls of this palace vanish, leaving only her and I beneath the heavens. And though she bears the title of another man's wife, though her loyalty has been given to my own brother-in-law, my heart refuses to bow before these fragile boundaries that men have written. For love is not bound by law, love is not silenced by custom, love is a fire that burns through barriers, that mocks the chains of propriety, that whispers to a man in the dead of night until he can no longer resist its call. Yes, they will call me selfish. They will say I dishonor the family, that I trample upon the bond between brothers. But what is honor if it requires me to live a lie? What is loyalty if it demands that I slay my own soul? If my love is to be a crime, then I confess myself guilty, guilty 1,000 times over, and I would wear that guilt with pride rather than cloak myself in a loveless virtue. Let them curse me, let the council declare me unfit, let the very stones of this palace turn cold against my steps. I do not care, for a prince may be made by birth, but a man is made by his heart, and mine belongs to her. Without her I am not a man fit to rule, nor even to live. With her I am alive, burning, breathing, defying even the stars that condemn me. So I say this now, if I must choose between the crown and her hand, then let the crown be cast into the dust. If I must fight the whispers of courtiers, the rage of kin, and the judgment of heaven itself, then so be it, I shall fight, for I will not surrender her, not in silence, not in fear, not in death. She shall be mine, not hidden in shadow, not whispered in shame, but standing beside me as my bride, my queen, my forever. Do you hear it? The echo of my own heart striking against the marble of this cursed palace. Every corridor knows my secret now. Every torch burns with the image of her face. Day after day, night after night, I have walked these halls pretending to be a dutiful prince, a faithful son, a brother loyal to blood. But inside I have been dying, dying for a touch that is forbidden, dying for a voice that calls to me in dreams, though awake it remains silent. Once I believed a crown was destiny. Once I believed that bloodlines and alliances and treaties were the walls that hold a kingdom upright. But now I know the truth. No wall can hold a man who has been set aflame by love. No oath can silence the pulse that drives his veins. For what is a kingdom without passion? What is a ruler who cannot even rule his own heart? I have watched her, yes, watched her, as a starving man watches the horizon for bread. Watched the grace of her hands as she poured wine, the sorrow of her eyes as she listened to the court's empty chatter. She is no ordinary woman. She is a storm hidden beneath silk, a truth wrapped in duty. She is everything that is real in a world built of masks. And I am a prisoner of every breath she takes. Let them say I am mad. Let them call it treason. Let them tear down my banners and strip me of every title. None of it matters anymore. For in the darkest hours of the night, when I cannot sleep, it is not the crown I reach for. It is the memory of her. It is the hope that one day, she will stand beside me not as a shadow, not as another man's wife, but as the one soul who dared to defy the world with me. And I will defy it. I swear it by the heavens above and the blood that flows in my veins. If it takes a war, I will fight it. If it takes exile, I will embrace it. If it takes tearing down every tradition written in the name of family and kingdom, I will burn them to ash. I am a prince, yes, but before that I am a man who has found the one heart that makes him whole, and I will not give her up. Not for law, not for kinship, not even for the mercy of the gods. So hear me, all who judge the day will come when she walks beside me, and I will not hide. I will take her hand before the court, before the priests, before the world, and claim her as mine. Not stolen, not secret, mine. And if the price of that is my crown, then let it fall. If the price is my blood, then let it spill. But know this, I will not die a liar to my own heart. I will live and I will love her, and the world will bow, not to my title, but to the fire that burns between us. Look at me, and see the man beneath the crown. Not the title, not the robes, not the portrait they hang in the halls of kings. Look at me as I stand before you, stripped of every mask, trembling not with fear, but with the weight of truth. My heart has wandered the wilderness of duty for too long, and now it has found its only compass, you. Do you think I do not know the price of this longing? Every night, in the silence of my chamber, I count it. Every law I would break, every bond I would sever, every god I would offend. But the sum is always the same, all of it, everything. For one day at your side. I know you have tried to bury it. I have seen it in the way your hands fold when our eyes meet, in the way your breath stills as though the room itself is a trap. You are bound to my brother, in law, and by that bond you are locked away behind a gate of iron. But my heart has already walked through that gate. My heart lives where you are, and though the world names this love forbidden, I would rather carry the sin of it openly than wear the disguise of virtue. Let them whisper. Let them paint me as a villain in every story they tell their children. It is better to be cursed as a man who loved too much than blessed as a prince who loved nothing at all. This palace was built on the bones of ambition, on the ashes of forgotten vows, yet here, amid the ruins of all that is sacred, blooms the one thing that still feels alive. You and I. And so I speak now not as a prince making a speech, but as a man kneeling before the one soul who has made his heart her kingdom. I will cast off the weight of this dynasty if it means walking with you beneath an open sky. I will trade every jewel, every title, every sword of honor for one honest touch of your hand. Do you understand me? There is no throne worth sitting on if you are not beside it. There is no legacy worth leaving if you are not written into it. Yes, the world will call it treachery, and perhaps it is. But I would rather betray tradition than betray the truth beating inside my chest. I would rather be in exile with you than a king without you. And if you would only speak, only whisper that you feel even a fraction of what I feel, Then together we will burn a new path through history, a path no law can erase, no court can silence, no family can deny. Take my hand. Take it now, not as a subject takes a ruler's, but as a soul takes another soul, and let the world do what it will. Let the crown fall. Let kingdoms tremble. Let the stars themselves shift in their courses. For I am done hiding, done waiting, done bleeding behind a mask. I am yours, utterly, recklessly, eternally yours. Do you think I have not wrestled with my own conscience? For months I have worn a mask before the court, smiling at banquets, signing decrees, listening to ministers drone about taxes and treaties, while every heartbeat inside me was a storm screaming your name. I have tried to silence it, God knows I have. I have tried to bury myself in duty, in the rituals of the palace, in the cold arms of ambition, but nothing can quench this fire. It grows each time I see you, each time I hear your voice in the corridor, each time I catch the scent of your hair, carried like a ghost on the air. I am haunted by you, you are the shadow at my table, the echo in my prayers, the flame at the end of every dark hall. When I rise in the morning, it is not the crown I think of, it is not the council or the armies or the weight of my lineage. It is the memory of your eyes, the way they once caught mine across the hall, and in that instant the entire kingdom dissolved. You were standing beside him, yes, beside my brother-in-law, and yet in that instant I saw the life I was meant to live, not as a prince bound in chains of etiquette, but as a man free, alive, unafraid with you. That vision has poisoned every other thought. It has made my palace a cage, my crown a chain, my name a curse. Do you know what it is to sit at a feast, surrounded by laughter, and feel nothing but the ache of wanting someone you cannot touch? To hear the bards sing of heroes and lovers while you swallow your own story, untold, unheard, because to speak it would bring ruin. I am drowning in it. Every night when the halls are empty, I walk alone, and in the silence my heart calls to you, as though across a battlefield. I imagine what it would be like to take your hand openly, to lift you from that seat of false duty and hold you in the light where the world could see us and know, yes, know, that we belong. They will call it betrayal. They will call it scandal. The council will gather like a murder of crows, tearing at my name. My family will spit out my memory like poison. Perhaps even you will curse me for daring to speak it. But I can no longer pretend that what burns in me is a passing fancy. It is not lust, it is not a moment's whim, it is the very marrow of my soul, and without it, without you, I am a hollow man wearing a borrowed crown. I will not be hollow, I will not be false. If love makes me a traitor, then I choose treason. If desire makes me a sinner, then I embrace damnation. Imagine it, if only for a breath, a world beyond these walls. A world where we are not bound by names, where no law claims you, where no bloodline chains me. A world where you and I are not whispered about, but walk together openly beneath the sun. I would give up my armies, my castles, my very name to build that world with you. I would go into exile with nothing but my sword and your hand. I would fight the earth itself if it stood between us. And if the gods struck me down for it, I would die smiling, because even one day of truth with you would be worth a lifetime of lies without you. Do you hear me? This is not a plea born of weakness, it is a vow born of defiance. The crown upon my head is nothing compared to the crown you already wear upon my heart. If you look at me now, if you see me not as a prince, but as the man standing before you, stripped of every shield, then know that every word I speak is a promise. I will come for you. I will break every wall they build around you. I will burn down every lie they have told to keep us apart. I will stand before the altar of heaven and hell alike, and speak your name as my destiny. And when the world calls me mad, I will answer with only this, that I was a man who dared to love you beyond the reach of law and blood. Take these words, hold them if you dare. If you cannot yet speak, then at least hear me, for I will not stop. This love is a tide, and it has risen past the gates. It will flood every chamber, every secret, every shadow. One day soon, All the court will know what I already know, that you are the heartbeat of this kingdom, the only truth left in its halls, and that my life, prince or beggar, crowned or cast out, begins and ends with you. Every hour I remain silent, the palace grows colder. The tapestries, the silver, the marble all begin to feel like walls closing in, like the bars of a cage built by my own blood. Yet in the middle of this cage there is a single flame that refuses to go out. You. You are the one real thing left in a world of pretense. And now the thought of spending another day bowing to laws written by men who never loved as we do is unbearable. I am a prince, yes, but what is a prince if not a man shaped by his own choices? And this is my choice. I have already begun to imagine the life we could carve beyond these gates. I see a dawn, where we wake not to the sound of heralds but to the sound of the sea, or of the wind moving through the trees. I see you free of the eyes that watch you, free of the weight that was forced upon your shoulders, and I see myself not as a ruler issuing commands but as a man who can finally breathe. No courtiers, no priests, no crowns, only the simple truth of two souls who refuse to bow. That image has become my salvation and my torment. It is the only thing that keeps me alive, and yet the very thing that makes this palace unbearable. Do you think I fear exile? Do you think I fear the whispers, the accusations of betrayal, the thunder of my family's rage? No. What I fear is a life where I never took this chance. What I fear is standing at an altar with a stranger, feeling your shadow at my back, and knowing that I had the chance to claim you and lacked the courage. That is the true death. That is the wound that never heals. I would rather be cast into the wilderness with you than sit upon a throne without you. They will call me a usurper of hearts, a breaker of bonds. They will try to paint you as a temptress, as though you had woven a spell over me. But I know the truth. You never sought this. You never called me to you. It was I who found you, I who saw in you the reflection of the life I had lost. If they call it sin, then it is my sin and I will carry it. If they call it rebellion, then I am the rebel, and gladly so. And yet, even as I speak this, part of me still aches to protect you. I do not wish to drag you into scandal. I do not wish to see your name stained by the venom of the court. That is why I stand here, speaking not as a prince demanding but as a man offering. I am offering you a world beyond these walls. I am offering you a love that will not hide in the corners of this palace, but will stand tall in the open sky. It will cost us everything. It may cost me my life, but it will be ours, and it will be true. So tell me, is there a spark in you that dares to burn with me? Even if you cannot speak it aloud, even if you only let your eyes say it, I will know. And if that spark exists, then on the day the sun rises next, I will act. I will cast aside the crown, the council, the armies, and the name they have chained to me. I will come to you not as a prince but as a man who has chosen. And together we will walk through the gates not as captives, but as fugitives of a world too small to contain us. We will build our kingdom not of marble and gold but of fire and air, a kingdom of two hearts, untamed, unbroken, unafraid.